And Suzanne Mason, come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you today. This is Suzanne Geisler. She is the educator with the County Solid Waste District, and I will allow her to introduce herself in just a few moments. My purpose of being here today is to ask the board to pass a resolution accepting the solid waste plan. Every 5 years, the Ohio EPA requires solid waste districts to update their solid waste plan. And so we have developed a plan, and we are now going through the ratification process. So I've been going to a lot of city and township meetings over the last month to get resolutions from them as well, and that has been a very positive experience. We're getting a lot of very good feedback from them. May I take a few moments to tell you a little bit about this plan and our programs?
Sure.
Thank you. This plan is a continuation of the current plan that we already have in place. We're taking the same programs that we have, and we're just making them better. So some of the programs that we have, I've got some pictures to show you. One of our biggest programs is the curbside recycling program. This is every household in the county that has trash service also has curbside recycling service. Rumpke is our largest partner with this. This is a program that started many years ago, and it's going well. It's a strong program, and it's working out very well for Warren County. Next, the county has an education program. Suzanne Geisler is our educator, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
My name is Suzanne Geisler. I've been working with Warren County Solid Waste for 27 years as the educator. I'm a licensed teacher. I have a current teaching license. I also have a master's degree from Miami University. And this is what I do. I go to schools all over Warren County, every building, public, private, it doesn't matter. I do library programs, homeschool programs, some summer camps. I really don't like scouts, but I do them because it's at night. Anyway, I teach all types of recycling education. You can see my worms. I do teach composting, the nitrogen cycle, all of those things. So if you have any specific questions about recycling, what's recyclable, what's not recyclable, I can probably answer that question for you because that's what I do all day long.
Great, thank you.
And our plan, the purpose of the plan is basically answering two questions. One, is there a place for trash to go? And two, is the county making efforts to recycle? The answer to both of those questions is yes. Where our trash goes, there's a landfill in Cincinnati and one in Dayton. Our trash goes to one of those two places. And are we making efforts to recycle? Absolutely we are. We're doing that through the curbside recycling. We're making efforts through our education program to educate children about how to recycle. Another one of our programs is our litter program. We have one full-time and one part-time employee that runs this program. They go into all of the townships and cities and they pick up litter. And this program, the townships and the cities love us because we go through, we clean up the roads. We also offer assistance to them if they're having a festival or some kind of program where they just need a little bit of extra help. We can go out and help them. We use inmates from the county jail and people who have been sentenced to community service, and they can provide labor for those projects. Or like, for example, Clear Creek Township, occasionally we've gone to help them clean their fire trucks, especially when there's snow on the ground. It's hard to pick up litter when there's snow on the ground. So they have helped those, so the townships and the cities really appreciate this program. And the county courts as well, because they're bringing us the people, and they contribute financially to this program. They contribute $30,000 a year to keep that program going. Couple of other programs. We've got the paint shed and the styrofoam recycling shed in the parking lot. This is very popular. The residents love a place where they can take their sheds, and that number's not exaggerated. Last year, we brought over almost 14,000 cans of paint to Matthew 25 Ministries for recycling. Matthew 25 is, you might know this is based in Blue Ash, and they take that paint and recycle it and use it for their different missions. We also have an annual electronic recycling event. This is something that we partner with Archives with. They have a paper shred event, and we do the electronic recycling event. We have one coming up next month where, again, we'll team up together, and that's held right here in our parking lot.
How is that, the electronic recycling going? Because I know a lot of that was outsourced to China, and they diverted and stopped taking a lot of that. There was talk that there was actually going to be one of those facilities constructed even in Warren County at one point.
Well, we use Cohen Recycling.
Cohen's the one that was talking about building one,
Yes, so they process all of our material.
but we don't know where it's going.
Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, well, they do break down all that material in Middletown there, and it's very technical to do that and to extract that materials. I don't know where the materials go. I know that all the hard drives are destroyed and shredded, and then any materials they can extract out of it, I don't know where it goes.
Yeah, they were actually talking about building the actual plant. Yeah, Cohen does it, but then they source it overseas. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but the program's going very well. We've been doing this for a lot of years now, and we were doing it annually. Right now, we're doing it twice a year. It's going very smoothly. Yep, and the next one, Franklin, the city had reached out to us, and they would like to do one, possibly in spring. So we might move our spring one to Franklin, something we're thinking about, talking about. And then we have a couple of other miscellaneous programs. We have, we team up with the health department to have tire amnesty days where residents can drop off their tires. Of course, our litter program picks up a lot of tires from the roadside. We have an annual Christmas light recycling program, and we have a mini grant program. So nonprofits or government agencies that are doing small projects can reach out to us for up to $1,000 mini grant. So all of these programs have been beneficial to the residents and to the townships and the cities. We get a lot of positive feedback. We spend a lot of time educating the public on how to get rid of difficult items and how to recycle. Do you have any questions about the program?
I have one question.
Yes.
Because I get this every once in a while from somebody who doesn't want to pay for recycling. But I take it that that's not possible. You can't opt out of it. If you're an individual homeowner, you are required to pay the separate recycling fee regardless of whether you are recycling.
That's correct. We put the onus on the trash hauler, though. So they are the ones who are required to provide both trash and recycling. Now, how they want to bill that is up to them. If they want to combine it together and make it one price, that's up to them. But I do believe you're correct that most of the trash haulers do divide it out into trash and recycling.
Okay, so these people, when they contact us and they have questions about it, should we refer them to the person who picks up their trash? Is that like Rumpke or?
They are always welcome to start with me. If it's something that I need to refer to Rumpke to, I can refer them, but I'm happy to talk to any residents. We do it every day.
It's not, I mean, this isn't a really common occurrence, but I've got people that just don't want to do it. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
but they just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I've gotten those phone calls as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My people like to recycle.
Yeah.
These
I
are not
will
my
say-
people.
I will say
This isn't me, okay? I recycle a whole lot, but any event.
I was looking at last year's recycling data that Rumpke provides for us. And not that it's a contest, but Springboro was the one that recycled the most. So Springboro got
And
the
you
gold
can-
star.
Springboro.
And you can attest that it is going to a recycling facility, right, Tiff? Because two commissioners followed a recycling truck about 25 years ago and said it didn't go to a recycling facility, and that was kind of a thing.
Yes,
way
it's
back then.
absolutely going to a recycling facility. There's
I've
a
been there, I've seen it.
Yes.
Seeing it sorted is very cool.
Yes, it's a very large, millions of dollars facility in Cincinnati. We both have toured it. It's a material recovery facility. And
Remember that, Tiff?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
all right,
Thank you,
you.
Suzanne. Thank you for being here today. Okay, oh, yeah, we do have a resolution to approve the updated 5-year solid waste management plan for the solid waste management district.
So moved.
And yes?
Yes. Thank you for keeping us on track. Tammy, welcome. Good morning.
So I have Allison here today from Paran, and also the Dental Care Plus team, Mike and Rebecca. And this is pertaining to a discussion about the dental plan, so I brought the experts out to provide background on how we are where we are today.
Thanks, Tammy. Good morning. Great to see you all. As Tammy mentioned, I'm Allison Ruhlman. I'm with Horan Associates. Today we have Mike and Rebecca with Dental Care Plus. Since we did a bid in 2021 for your dental coverage to take effect 2022, you all have been with Warren County Dental Care Plus for quite some time. We did the bid due to some disruption happening with the network, right? We had a lot of people come to us saying, you know, our dentist is no longer a network. They're not, you know, partnering with specific carriers. We want to evaluate our partnership. We did do that in 2021, like I said, for the effective date of 2022. Based off of that, you know, Dental Care Plus came to the table and brought in a pretty aggressive quotes. They also offered, you used to have just an HMO product with Dental Care Plus, meaning if someone went out of network, they did not have any coverage or any benefit. In 2022, we added a PPO plan, so that provides out-of-network coverage or out-of-network reimbursement in case people do go out of network. However, since then, I do know that people have still experienced some issues, and so that's why we wanted to bring Dental Care Plus to the table and talk through that. You know, since they probably have come, there has been a lot of change. You know, Dental Care Plus was acquired by DentaQuest and recently Sun Life. So they wanted to talk through that, the enhancements with Sun Life, what that brings to the table, and ultimately how the network has changed and how they're bringing, you know, their partners to the table and ensuring that, you know, you're getting the most robust coverage and network as possible.
But as our broker, isn't that what we expect you to do? I mean,
Yeah, so when we-
normally, we don't talk to the providers and have them kind of pitch their services to us.
Yes.
We hire you to do this.
Right. So when we did the market bid back in 2021 for that 2022 effective date, we did do disruption, right? A disruption analysis. So when we went to the market evaluating all the other insurance carriers for dental, we wanted to make sure, okay, which ones would have the most robust coverage network. When we did that, Dental Care Plus's coverage and network still was the strongest out of those carriers. So we want to ensure, you know, overall we did that as well as ensuring there's performance guarantees in place. So we can talk through that as well. But ultimately ensuring from a performance standpoint that they're meeting the marks, you know, through the end of 2023 based off of our contract period, you know, from a service perspective, network perspective, putting those in place just to ensure that that's happening.
So we're under contract until the end of this calendar.
Correct. Yes, you are in a contract till the end of 2023. Dental Care Plus has provided a renewal, keeping your administrative rates flat for 2024, so no changes there. You all being self-funded means essentially, as you know with medical, you're paying the claims. So from Dental Care Plus, obviously you are using their network and they are assisting from adjudicating claims on your behalf. That's what you pay that administrative fee for. But ultimately, you all are paying those claims at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're acting as the TPA, but it's still, the main consideration is the scope of the network, who's included in their network, and that's where we keep hearing problems.
Correct.
What are you recommending we do next year?
So we can evaluate that based off of what we know from the network and what Dental Care Plus can share today, what they're doing from a network perspective. I'm hoping that provides a little bit more scope and light of what's coming in the future based off of their Sun Life partnership. One big thing that they are doing, and I don't want to steal all of their thunder, but one thing that they are doing is they are, you know, doing a whole re-credentialing process. They have a team that their job is to go back to those dentists who have come out of network with Dental Care Plus and evaluating those again to ensure, hey, what can we do to make sure that you join our network again and that partnership
But
is
isn't this the
successful.
time, again, you as our broker should be evaluating alternatives? I mean,
Correct.
we don't do this at the last minute.
Yes, so we are evaluating that on your behalf. Like I said, we've gotten the renewal. We're evaluating, seeing what the market has from a disruption standpoint on the network.
What does that
As-
mean, disruption?
So what dentists are in network compared to out of network? So any dentist, they can decide if they want to partner with an insurance carrier or not, or they can go directly with their patients. So with the dental, you know, just like any other insurance carrier or benefit, they partner with different insurance carriers to ensure that, you know, from a provider contracting standpoint, there's a specific rate that, you know, members can receive working with that insurance carrier.
Okay. I didn't understand that, but all right.
We can talk through that a little bit more as well. I will say from a dental perspective, not only has Dental Care Plus witnessed it, but we have witnessed it with other dental carriers, that a lot of dentists have just come out of network in general. They don't partner with as many insurance carriers as they used to, mainly because whether they want to deal with carriers or not and just want to go directly to their patients and do, you know, payment directly. That has been a thing that has changed recently. We have seen that trend happen. So through, you know, things like a re-credentialing process, what can we do to make that partnership stronger, helping out the dentist, all of that comes into play with those insurance carriers.
And I think to Commissioner Young's point, the last time I looked, I believe there were only 2 dentists in Warren County that were actually in the network. That may have changed since I looked previously, or Tammy and I looked previously, but it was very sparse.
What does it mean that we're actually using?
That are in the network, that
Okay.
versus the PPO plan that you can go and you can get reimbursed for
Yes.
the services versus them billing your insurance.
And one thing that Dental Care Plus has to share today is there's different options when it comes to out-of-network reimbursement. So if somebody were to go to out-of-network, how do we make sure they're getting the strongest reimbursement that ultimately could match what they would get if they went in-network? So we have some options there to share, just to show, you know, there is a range and a spectrum when it comes to this term of out-of-network reimbursement and how that works. So wanted to bring that to the table as well and show those options.
Great.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, you guys, I don't think we have a copy of that, so we'll find that out.
Ma'am?
Morning. My name is Rebecca Hetzer. I'm the Director of Account Management at Dental Care Plus, and I'm a legacy Dental Care Plus employee, so I've been with the organization for about a little over 20 years. And Mike Hall is our Senior
Manager of Network Development.
Yeah, sorry. He has been with Sun Life for 20 years, so wanted to come out to discuss with you today. One, to thank you for being a client for so long. We've had you for almost the entire time I've been at Dental Care Plus. And also just to talk through some of your concerns, what to expect with Sun Life in the future, and some options that we have available for you for your 2024 plan year.
Well, David, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because I've experienced this now. My dentist, who's Dr. Peck, was in the network for many, many, many years, and he then left the network. Is upset, frustrated, said he was going out of the network, and we continued to use him, my entire family, and I don't even know whether, how because I guess what they told me was, we don't any longer make application to get reimbursed, it's your responsibility, and I'm like, that's disruption for me, okay? I don't know what that other thing was, but that was disruption.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand whether I've ever gotten reimbursed at the time that happened. And they told me that some of the hospitals were going off of your network, and that lots of people were having complaints because they simply weren't getting reimbursed in time, and their process of using you was difficult. Can you, and since this happened to me personally, but I know lots of people have complained to us about this, what is happening?
So, I know Dr. Peck. He was one of our board members at Dental Care Plus for many years. And I sat in the board meetings with him each month when they came together. And Dental Care Plus was, I'll try not to backpack too far, but Dental Care Plus was a regional player here that was owned by a number of the dentists in our network. We had, I think, 800 some dental shareholders that owned a share of stock in Dental Care Plus. And, we were in a David and Goliath situation for quite some time where we were trying to compete against the national players. And so, the question had come up, year after year, are we going to be able to compete? Are we going to be able to stay in business? Is it time to do something? And at one point, they decided, we have an aging population in our shareholders, and the stars are aligning, and now's the time to go ahead and sell. So Dr. Peck, along with other shareholders, voted to sell the company. They looked at a number of different insurance companies to sell to, and DentaQuest was the one that they settled on. And at the time, it was viewed as a good option just due to, they were trying to grow their commercial side, and Dental Care Plus was really good at what we did. So long story short, a lot of things changed. Dental Care Plus always had that voice of the provider at the forefront, and that was something I think that was missed once we transitioned over to DentaQuest. The integration into DentaQuest was in a very short period of time, which did not help. And it led to a lot of things that needed to be fixed sort of after that transition was over. And it did impact our membership, our providers, a number of things. So one of the other things that's impacting providers today, and Allison alluded to it, is inflation. These dentists are small business owners, and they have to make decisions on how to keep their business running. And when they join or stay in a dental network, they agree to negotiated discounts. They agree to negotiated discounts with carriers. And, Dental Care Plus, for example, when I look at your claims, your members that go in network are saving about 35% off of the provider's billed charges by going in network because of our negotiated discount with them. So these dentists have to make a decision. I have rising costs due to COVID and the protective equipment and sterilization I have to do. It's harder for me to get dental hygienists, so I have to pay them more. And just the cost of them doing business has gone up. And we have not increased our fees for a number of years. Even prior to DentaQuest coming on, we hadn't increased our fees for a couple of years. So their negotiated discount and what we pay them probably hasn't kept up with their cost of doing business. We do
But what you pay them is actually, we pay them. We're the insurance company.
Correct.
You're just administering it.
Correct.
So when you talk about your fees going up, that's,
It's what's in their contract. It's the fees that we negotiate with them on your behalf. We contract with the dental network on your behalf as a self-funded client. So if we pay the dentist more, then your claims expense goes up. So we're trying to balance what you're paying as a self-insured program with what the dentists need to stay in the network. And some of them have made the choice to drop out of networks, not just Dental Care Pluses, but all carriers, and because they want to bill patients for their full charge.
And then the
So-
patients are responsible to come to you or Dental Care Plus to get reimbursed, is that right?
That's up to the provider. So if they are in network, they are required to file the claim on the member's behalf. If they're out of network, they don't have to. They can charge you up front, and then you seek reimbursement from us.
All right, and so how do you do that?
How do you seek reimbursement?
Yeah.
We have a form that you can complete, and if you send in that with your receipts, we will send the reimbursement directly to you. Some providers, even though they're out of network, they will file the claim on your behalf, and we'll send the payment to them in that instance. We can do it either way.
No, I wonder
But the
what
biggest thing is it's not the full amount. You pay for the negotiated rate of the
Correct.
contract. So the reason they're not in the network is because instead of taking $130 for a cleaning and a exam, they want $230. And even if the employee submits the paperwork, they're not getting the full part they're charged. So
Correct.
they want to be able to,
Well, and then they balance bill.
Correct.
They would balance bill the employee.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but,
So-
technically, the responsibility would be on the patient to get the bill from the doctor and the invoice and the payment proof and send it to somebody. Who do they send it to?
They send it into Dental Care Plus, and then we
Okay.
process the claim.
All right.
Yeah. So I did include in your packet some options for you. I included a couple things. One is an option to increase your reimbursement. So if you decide, okay, I want our membership to be protected more at the time of service so that they're not experiencing the balance billing that she mentioned, we do have options to increase that amount so that the plan is paying more towards that.
does that
Yeah,
get,
I'm just not sure why, honestly, why, Tammy, sorry, but I don't know why, I almost feel like we're negotiating with them right now. I don't wanna do this, honestly. This isn't our role, is to have them come in and kind of pitch alternatives to us and Haran. Honestly, this is your job. We shouldn't be in the middle of this.
Yeah, we certainly will bring these options to you when we come for our renewal meeting. Our just, presence here is just ensuring that you know from the partnership standpoint what they've provided over the years and what those options are. We certainly will bring those back for our renewal meeting as things that we want to move forward with. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate having this conversation with you all, because I didn't understand any of this. And Dr. Peck, I don't mean to pick him out, but he is my dentist, and he's my kid's dentist.
No,
and he's
I
my
have a lot
wife's
of
dentist.
respect for Dr. Peck. I've worked
Well,
with him for
that's
a
why
long
we
time.
went to him, was because he's got every modern dentistry gadget known to man, I imagine. And he's very on the cutting edge, and he's very involved with some of the cosmetic dentistry too, because I had a son who lost 2 front teeth in a hazing accident with a fraternity. And that's how we got to Dr. Peck, and he did a very good job. And then we all went with him, but then he announced that he was leaving, and that it would be our responsibility, and I'm too busy to take on more responsibility.
Yeah.
So figuring this out has been helpful, but I don't even know exactly what to do still.
Yeah. So I can send Tammy the form to share with you to submit for reimbursement.
And I'd like to share that, because I've had other people that are on our program that have the same problem.
Yeah, there's the
They don't know
certificate
what
of
to
coverage
do.
that they receive should also have instructions in there on how to submit for reimbursement.
And I wonder, maybe Dr. Peck is still submitting for us. I don't know. I go to him frequently, twice a year.
Yeah.
And I just had a kid
Good.
that's got I took in the other day, last week, and he's got a cavity. The guy is not brushing his teeth properly. So, anyway, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You being here today.
Yeah, I think it's just understanding any other concerns you all have. This is a good opportunity, obviously with Dental Care Plus being your partner for such a long period of time. Great to get them in front of you and understand the importance of you all being a partner with them. Certainly.
You keep talking about partnership. There's 2 dentists in the county that are in their network. I don't understand, just because they've been a partner for a long time, that's great. But again, we're charged with our 2,000 people that we're responsible for covering, providing them the best services. And again, this is just not what we do, is having an individual provider come in and try to negotiate with us.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
pay you
Yeah.
to do this.
Exactly, and like we did in 2021 into the 2022 contract year, we evaluated the network to see who has the strongest network presence here locally. I know a lot of people have dropped recently, but it's not necessarily they just dropped Dental Care Plus. It's happening across the board. So even if we were to move to a different carrier, that disruption, and I hate to use that word again, or that network presence that we're seeing today probably wouldn't change. And so that's why looking at that out-of-network reimbursement option is important to evaluate, okay, how do we make sure that if somebody does go out of network, they are getting the maximum reimbursement as possible?
So when I do a search on our Find a Dentist tool for Warren County, Ohio, it's pulling up 266 results.
They're in your network. So what is this number about only 2?
That's
I'm
it,
not sure.
located
Last
in the
time I
county.
looked, maybe it's strengthened since then. It was last year, I believe.
Well, there's not that many dentists in Warren County that's from the surrounding
I thought that
area.
there was
Yeah,
one
yeah,
in
there's not
Lebanon.
200
It's
dentists in
with,
Warren
well, it's
County.
within, let me see what the
I
radius
was gonna
search
say,
is
maybe,
given me.
maybe in
Yeah.
50
Yes.
miles or 25
Yeah.
miles
Yeah,
maybe,
it-
but.
it's not in Warren County.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's within a radius search.
I guess my question's really about, your suggestion around considering increasing the reimbursement to either the dentist or to the employee. What is the connection between the reimbursement rate and the dentist choosing to be in the network? Is there some correlation, and can you tell me what that is?
So when providers leave, they could leave for a number of reasons, right? But fees is one of the ones that we hear the most often. They
Right, so I guess, I mean, I understand that. If I were billing $236 for a service and I was only getting paid $137.28 on that service,
yeah.
I don't have to be very smart to figure out, well, this is not a good deal for me, and especially as my costs are going up, as you point out. So the question that you pose is we could consider paying more in that contract. What I'm asking you, though, is in paying dentists more, does that put more of them in the network, or is it just increasing the liability on the county? To me, that is a huge issue, that if I increase it $20, does that increase the number of dentists who want to be in there? Or does it have no impact on it?
Well, the options that I'm showing you here are to increase the out-of-network reimbursement. Now, Mike has been involved in what we're calling our Win Back campaign to try and get dentists back in the network, and also in a initiative to combine the Sun Life and Dental Care Plus networks together. Through the course of that, they are doing in-network fee negotiations for the providers that we want back in the network the most. So they have a list of providers that we're trying to target to get back in the network. And of course, they're the ones that are used most often by.
Right, because it's all about the out-of-network, and it's a great point, because just because we increase our reimbursement rate has literally no bearing on if that dentist office is in the network or not. Just because one of the participants of the network increases a reimbursement rate, it has no bearing on.
Unless it pushes upward pressure on what they charge. I mean, if their reimbursement is larger.
Yeah, but it's a network, so there's all sorts of market participants, and we're just one.
Yeah.
Just because we increase, or we double our reimbursement rate, doesn't mean Dr. Pack or whoever is, oh, wait, one of the participants in Dental Care Plus's network increase in reimbursement rates, I better get back in. It has no bearing.
And why would they be in the network? Presumably, these people join a network, and I know that if Dr. Peck was originally an owner, this was different, but they do it because they think that they will attract patients whose employers are using Dental Care Plus, and therefore they say, geez, I want to compete for that business, the business of those people whose plans are Dental Care Plus, and I don't want to lose that, because presumably people like me would be told by Dr. whoever, I'm not in the network any longer, and they say, sayonara, I want to be with somebody in the network. So that's their reason for doing it, I presume. Can you get him back into your network, please?
But you are correct. The reason they joined, number one reason for a dentist to join the network is patients, right? They have open chair time. As we alluded to several times here, dentist office is a business, right? So if they have an open chair where nobody's sitting in it, they're not making revenue. So the idea here is some of these providers, as Rebecca has said, has dropped out fees, number one, but number two, if they have all their chair time filled, because they're a seasoned provider, been in business 20, 30 years, and they don't have to take a discount, why would they, right? But if they have open chair time, and wouldn't you rather get somebody at 70 cents on the dollar than no cents, right? You still have your overhead costs, you still have to pay your employees, utilities, all those things are still a factor. So if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, make sense?
Well, sure, but I mean, the fact is, eh, my assumption, and this may be false, was that the reason why my dentist or other dentists were leaving Dental Care Plus was because they weren't satisfied with the service or maybe the fee structure or whatever, and that other plans were more favorable. Are we in that position? Are people, now you mentioned that in fact, lots of dentists are leaving all of these networks and rejecting it, but that seems to me to be counterintuitive as to why they would be joining it in the first place.
Well, think about it from the beginning, when you are a new practice, right, starting out, and you have all your chair time open, they need to put patients into those chairs, right? So they join networks to fill those open chair times.
So the younger dentists, or the newer dentists who are building a practice want to be in, and the more established people don't have as big of an interest because they've got a clientele, and they're not as fearful that they're going to leave.
Yeah, because we find that in dentistry, at least my 21 years, members are very loyal, right? So whether a provider leaves the network or not, members are pretty loyal to their provider. We're going to continue to see them.
All right, well, so.
Yeah, and in this case, if there was some bad experience, that could give them a jolt to leave the network, and perhaps at that point, if they don't see any, where people are leaving and they're starting to have open chair time, their chair time is still all filled, they have no incentive as far as an older provider, established provider, to join the network, right, or more networks.
And Mr. Grossman, I don't want you to think that fees are the only issue. We definitely had issues when we integrated with DentaQuest, and I'll absolutely own that. But we have resolved a lot of them.
The explanation I was given by the office that I use was a timing question and the way in which it was being administered, and they felt that they were not getting good service. I don't think well, they at least didn't tell me the complaint was the discount that was required that they take. If you did a cavity or something like that, you only get paid this amount of money. That wasn't what I was told, but maybe they wouldn't have wanted to tell me that.
Right, as a patient, they don't want to be like, well, I want to charge you more, that,
But I actually understand.
Yeah.
When a doctor says, I want to charge you an appropriate amount for my overhead and and if I don't like it, I go to somebody else.
yeah. We have, besides just the fees, we are doing some other things to try and re-engage with them and put them first. So a number of the new plan features that we're rolling out are to encourage members to get that preventive care that they need to get and to seek the services they need to get. So we have maximum rollover, we have preventive rewards, we have plans where your preventive services are waived from the annual maximum altogether. Now, of course, all of those increase your plan costs as a self-funded plan, but they encourage that patient provider relationship and the use of services the way you need to use them as a patient. So, we're trying to get out of the provider's way when it comes to patient care.
Okay, well, from my standpoint, to our people that are helping us pick this, it is important that we provide a plan that provides with access to dentists who are using the plan. That should be a factor in determining whether we go forward with any particular group.
Yeah, well, when I look at, there's a page in here that we talked about disruption. There's a page in here that gives you information on like a rolling 12 months of your plan, and you still have a very high utilization in network.
Okay, well, good. That should be a factor.
When, Tammy, will you be coming back to us on our plan discussion?
It should be, the plan overall should be in October.
Okay, great,
Really appreciate your time today.
yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our agenda is Josh Grossman and Mike Dean with Dinsmore, talking about hospital improvement revenue bonds for a senior living facility. You can walk with purpose. Come on. Please state your name for the record.
Sure, yeah. Hi, good morning, Commissioners, Tina, everyone. I'm Josh Grossman with Dinsmore and Scholl, and we're serving as bond counsel in this transaction. Mike Dean, my partner, is serving as legal counsel to the county in this transaction. We also have with us today Brian Krause back there. He's the CFO of Community First Solutions and Colonial Senior Services, Inc., both of which are Ohio not-for-profit corporations and are the potential borrower in this financing. We have
Before you start, is there any hospitals that own all or part of this?
So it's a senior living facility actually, but under Chapter 140 of the code, they're called hospital facilities bonds, hospital facility revenue bonds. Right now, there's a for-profit entity that owns an existing senior living
I'm just
community.
trying to figure out my conflict. So if no hospital owns any part of this, that's all I need to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, so this today is an inducement resolution or a resolution of intent where we're asking the county to express its willingness to serve as the conduit issuer for the not-for-profit borrower in the issuance of tax-exempt bonds in an amount up to $25 million, the proceeds of which will be used by the borrower to acquire, again, this existing senior living facility that's located at 5373 Merton Drive. The facility itself, it's a 101-unit assisted living and assisted living memory care community. And again, it's owned and operated currently by a for-profit borrower.
What's it called?
I believe it's Anthology at Mason. And again, they're for-profits, getting a not-for-profit in the door. Hopefully, leads to more continued care, continued mission-driven care versus profits. And this would not be the county's debt. It's not a pledge.
Yeah, essentially, this is just an administrative hearing under the code that you have to announce it to us, but there is no obligation to Warren County taxpayers, correct?
That's correct, yeah. And the actual official hearing under the code would be next week. We're coming back next Tuesday if we get your approval today. This is just the first step in the process where we're hoping that the county would be willing to serve as the issuer so that the not-for-profit borrower could benefit from the issuance of the tax exempt
So
bonds.
why does the state require, Bruce, us to be the issuer?
Well, I'm gonna let Mike
All right.
answer that question
Yeah.
because we don't serve as bond counsel for the county.
Okay.
So the code does not require the county to be the issuer. It does require an entity that has jurisdiction over the facility, the location of the facility, to be the issuer. Warren County and the counties generally, when we do these kinds of hospital revenue bond transactions, healthcare revenue bond transactions as well, we typically would use the county because it's the largest scope. And so we have, in several cases, multiple entities or multiple locations being financed. But we just find it easier administratively to work with the county on this level. But it's not a requirement under the code. We've certainly done it from a Port Authority perspective. We've done it from other perspectives as well. But typically, we do use the county just for administrative ease on
And so what does it mean when we become, if we approve this, what does that mean to us? I hear that we don't have any liability, we don't have any requirements so what does it mean to us that we're doing?
So this resolution specifically, as Josh indicated, is an inducement resolution. It's used for a number of different reasons in our practice. One reason we use it is to set our clock for reimbursements, but that's not really relevant to your question. This resolution is the inducement resolution. Next week would be the bond authorization resolution, and the TEFRA hearing, as Commissioner Young alluded to as well. For the county, as you said, no liability, no financial liability, no legal liability other than to sign documents and issue the bonds. Other than that, it is a way for nonprofit entities to finance on a tax-exempt basis, issuing through a political or governmental entity.
But our name is associated with these bonds.
Your name would be on the bonds. That's
So anybody that buys the bonds, typically these bonds are bought by some institutions or something, or how do you
Depends.
market the bonds?
Depends. In this case, excuse me, in this case, it will be a private placement. So it will be placed with a bank from Indiana, I believe. Is that right, Josh?
Old National Bank.
Old National Bank. out of Indiana, and they've worked with Community First and Colonial Senior Services for a number of years.
And if that bank goes belly up for some reason, what happens with these bonds?
So the bank is just the one who's lending the money. So the county acts as the issuer. In order to take advantage of the tax exempt financing, it has to, as Mike said, run through a political subdivision here in the county. The bank will make the loan up to $25 million. We think it's going to be, give or take, 21 million.
So the solvency of the bank has nothing to do with the payment
It's
of
only the
bonds.
solvency
Makes no
of
difference.
the
And then-
borrower.
Yeah,
So
and then the borrower makes repayments over the life of.
He knows a lot more about this than I do. I just want to understand it because I was involved actually, the counsel for a bank that was the debenture trustee on bonds issued by Lincoln Savings and Loan, which was the Keating Five matter. And we got drug into this huge litigation, but I take it that that's not remotely a possibility for this county.
Little different in this, well, a lot different in this situation.
I'm sure it is.
Right, the bank is gonna lend money to buy the bonds, lend money to the county technically. That money is gonna go directly to Community First, but the documents will have it run through the county as the county is issuing the bonds. All the payments will be made directly from Community First to the bank. There will be a trustee that's involved, I believe, right, Josh?
No trustee on this one.
Okay, no trustee on this one, but there's a direct payment mechanism from Community First to the bank. So the county won't have any payment liability, there's no one coming through, no money coming through the
yeah,
county.
the only entity that takes the risk is whoever purchases the bond, which is either individual
Right.
bond holders, if it's a free market transaction, or a private placement, this one bank.
Correct.
So if the issuer, the nursing home, goes defunct, the bank loses.
Yeah.
And
It's
we're
the-
just an administrative agent,
the
there's no
solvency,
possibility it comes back
Allowing
on
for
us
the
under
tax
the law.
exempt
Solvency of the
status.
borrower, the solvency of the borrower is what you're concerned about here, so Colonial.
The borrower is the senior living facility is the one that's borrowing the money and paying the money, right?
And the larger umbrella corporate obligation, well, what am I trying to say here? Master indenture obligation, which includes all of the corporate entities of the Community First system. So all of those entities will be on the hook for.
But the bottom line is,
It's
we
not
don't care
county
about that.
liability.
We could care less if they go belly up, that's 100% on them.
Right.
We care about the taxpayers. Under the law, it does not affect our balance sheet,
Right.
anything. We
Doesn't
are
even
literally
go-
an administrative, Otterbein does this all the time.
Yes, we've
Right,
done
so
this,
we've done this.
we've done
Yes.
this before.
Countless
So,
times.
but this facility will be in Warren County?
Correct.
Okay, and so that you're aware that the commissioners do have a conduit debt issuance fee for this because it is in Warren County. They adopted it in 2013, and it's 0.5% for the amount between 10 million and 50 million. I can provide you that resolution that they adopted. Normally, the ones we've done recently have not been in Warren County. We charge no fee for the ones that are outside of Warren County. I think this is the first one we've done in a while that has been actually in Warren County.
Does that make a difference to y'all?
We can calculate the fee. I think Abbott had that scheduled before. I don't have that
Yeah.
scheduled. That would be great to get a copy.
Yeah, where is Abbott? Abbott is normally, he's the highest paid attorney I know. He comes in for 5
He's not a
seconds.
paid attorney at all anymore. So he retired at the end of 2022. So I've worked with Abbott for a
Before you
number of
leave,
years,
we'll
been
give
up
you a
here
copy of that.
For a while. And so, yeah, Abbott is gone now. Abbott had that fee schedule, and we have not issued Otterbein bonds through Warren County for a while. Otterbein has chosen to go another route with the state issuer. But we still, have TEFRA approvals and things like that involving the county, and I know Tina's waiting on a termination of leases that we approved back in June for July payoff of their 13 bonds. But no, that's, helpful. We'll get the fee incorporated in to the bond run that they're working on and all the costs that need to be paid out of the bond issue. Yep.
Well, I don't have any objection to this. Do we have to pass a resolution to this?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, it's not today though, we're just
This
scheduling
is
the
the
meeting.
inducement
We have to pass
resolution,
a
and then we have a TEFRA public hearing scheduled, I believe it's next week?
Tuesday. Yep,
Tuesday,
the 12th.
yeah.
All right,
Yep.
so what's the resolution?
Have a resolution indicating intent to issue hospital facilities revenue bonds for the purpose of financing, refinancing, or reimbursing costs of acquiring, constructing, improving, renovating, and/or furnishing an existed assisted living memory care community within Warren County, Ohio.
All right, so moved.
Second?
roll call, please.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes.
Thank you
Martin's
all.
making you a copy of that.
Yep, and I didn't do that just because your name is the same as mine. But you're the first 2N Grossman that I have met, other than my family. Is that?
I only have one.
Oh, and our.
It's a
yeah,
typo.
So that is the first time I've seen that mistake made. They make me a one N all the time. And I don't even understand the two N business.
So
Tiffany,
you
do you-
technically still haven't met one.
But I still haven't met one. I was gonna comment, I mean, there's a little town in Switzerland. Everybody is Grossman with two N's. So I must be from that. I don't know.
I'm sorry to let you down.
I am thoroughly, now I would have changed my vote. Thanks a lot.
Tiffany, do
Nice
you
to
have
meet you anyway.
anything
I do not.
All right, good.
Mark, put
Tina,
that
do you
right
have
there for you.
anything
I
else?
do not.
I will at least be
Okay.
back next week. I'm not sure if Josh
Yeah,
will
do
yet, but
would you like me to come back, or Brian to come back, or someone from Community First, Brian Senior?
thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for pending litigation with legal counsel present pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G3. And we're going to invite the potential opposition party to this litigation into the room with us. And then I move that we, after the conclusion of that, we go into executive session for personnel matters relative to hiring within the commissioner's office pursuant to ORC section 121.22G1.
Second?
Roll call?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.